In this video, we're going to be looking at how to add functionality to the app we designed in a previous video. So this is the design. So we were messing around with grid layouts mainly. And the idea behind it is I can add a name and an age and press add, and it adds it to the table. And I can put somebody else in there. Press add, it adds it in there. And finally, if I leave one of them blank, I get an error message. So let's look at how this can be coded. Now, like before, we have to import the UI file generated by Designer, okay, which is right here. And I import sys as well. I also need to import Qt widgets so I can have access to create new table items. The code underneath the class is exactly the same, and the way we set up the class is exactly the same as well. I'm inheriting the class that I've created here. So in my constructor, I set up user interface, which is calling this method right here. And then I link the add button to a method called validate input. So the first step is to check to make sure the input is correct. Now, when you're adding user interface items to a GUI, you should always do some validation. I'm doing really simple validation, nothing out of the ordinary. So I get the two texts out, I put them into variables just to make life a bit easier. And then I just see if either of them are empty or not. If they are, then I'm going to create an error dialog. Now, error dialogs are created in this way. So first of all, I actually create a object for the error dialog. I then put in the message. So the method show message will actually allow me to put text in there. However, it's a bit misconstrued in that it won't immediately show. Okay, so if I didn't have this line here, this exe, this execute line, it just wouldn't show up. So you need this line to actually do it. The reason behind this is because you might want to set some other options in your error message dialog. Okay, so there are other things you can do with it. We're not going to look at that right now. So this will execute it and show it. However, if it's okay and all the items have been entered, it's going to call this other method called add student. So let's look at the add student. Now I'm passing through the name and the age, so I don't have to do this again. I'm getting the self.name edit.text. So the first thing I need to do is I want to add data at the end of the table. So I need to know how big the table is. So this method row count will tell me how big it all is. Table widget is the name of the table that I've created, and it stores that number, which is just going to be an integer value, into num rows. We then add a new row using insert row. Now this will actually have no data in it, so we have to add the data items individually. So to do that, we set the item in the table, so table widget.set item. We say which row we're doing, and it's going to be the one I've just inserted. 0 is going to be the first column, 1 will be the second column, so on and so forth. And then I'll have to create a table widget item to put the data into it. Okay, so I create the table widget item and I pass through as its constructor the text that I want to go in there. In this case, the name of the person. And I do that for the second item, but in this case, put age in, and then that's it. That's all you need to do. So this code, when run, we can just test it out again. So if I press add without anything in there, it gives me that error dialog. If I type in a name and an age, I press add, I'll add it in. And I can add as many of those as I want to add in. And that's it.